Good morning, leaders in learning. It's Thursday. So today we are talking about our third author's purpose. And if you remember, we have already discussed that an author can write to entertain us. We discussed this yesterday. Make this bigger. In a whole group. And we decided that fictional stories are for entertaining us. And entertaining just means that we have some kind of emotion. Okay, we're happy, we're sad, we're mad, we're glad. But it sparks an emotion in us that keeps us wanting to read. Then in our small groups, we read some articles that were trying to persuade us. And some of these may be a little different than your notes if you were in Ms. Corbin's group, because I just took some examples from students. So you may have said something different, but to persuade someone means you're trying to convince them that you want them to do something or you want them to think something. So you're giving them examples and reasons why they should do what you want them to do or think what you want them to think. So some of those examples yesterday that my kids were telling me they thought about were like a salesperson. They may try to persuade you to buy something. The bulletin boards, when we're driving up or down I-95, you've probably seen those amazing south of the border billboards with cars on them and all these really cool things persuading you to stop at south of the border to have some fun and spend some money. Right now we have political ads out the wazoo. So right now it's almost time to vote for the president. So there's all kinds of ads trying to get you to vote for one president or the other. At the Fayetteville Mall, we talked about how they'll stand out in front of the restaurants with little samples of food to try to persuade you, ooh, wasn't that yummy? Come buy your food from us. So today we're going to go into the third author's purpose, which we've already dabbled in a little bit with some of our stories we've read. But we're going to read a short story from a non-fiction text. So this author's purpose is going to come mostly from non-fiction texts. And we're going to kind of talk a little bit about what a non-fiction text looks like also as we read today. So let me go to my story. All right, this comes from one of the unit readers that we're going to read out of this year. Not yet, but we're just kind of stealing a story for today. And it's about endangered species. And I really liked the introduction to this story for the purpose of author's purpose, because it does a really nice job of showing us some nonfiction text features and the author's purpose we're going to talk about today. So I'm trying to get my face where it won't really block what I want you to see. Okay. It's just the introduction to the unit reader, not the introduction to anything specific, but just what we would be studying if we were reading this unit. So it says many species or kinds of animals that inhabit Earth are in danger of vanishing forever. I love right here, we have this black bold word species, and then it has a comma or kinds. So it's telling us right here in the text that the word species means kind of. It's a kind of animal. These species are described as endangered. Some experts think that we may be losing as many as 30,000 species each year. I wonder what endangered means. It says some of the kinds of animals are endangered. Experts think we may be losing as many as 30,000 species a year. I bet endangered must mean that they're in danger if they're losing 30,000 of maybe dying off. That's kind of scary. Scientists think that at least 10 million species exist on Earth today. These species include every kind of animal, from giant whales and elephants to creatures too small to see without a microscope. They also include every kind of plant, from trees that tower high above to plants at the bottom of the sea. When the last plant or animal of its kind dies, the species is extinct. When the last plant or animal of its kind, so the very last one, dies, it's extinct. That must mean there are no more. Oh, that would be bad. Scientists work hard to figure out which species might be struggling to survive. There's another clue that I think I'm right with extinct, because it talks about they might be struggling to survive. So if they're extinct, they must no longer survive. Endangered species are close to becoming extinct. Threatened species are close to becoming endangered. So it kind of sounds to me like a ladder. Like if they're threatened, that means they're starting to die, but if they keep dying, then they become endangered. If they keep dying, they become extinct. That kind of helps me to visualize how much trouble they're in. Okay. As I look over this text, I really think it's cool. This map they gave me, this helps me see, move my face again. This helps me see the world. So it's a map, it's a flat picture of the globe. And yesterday, I know in our morning meeting, we talked about people who've lived outside the United States. So just for those who are a little bit confused, this continent right here is North America, and this part in the middle is the United States where we live. Okay? So Ms. Corbin was talking mostly about people who've lived over here on this side. Of course, you could have lived down here in South America, or up here in the more northern regions that are not considered the United States. But she was talking about living right here. And so most of us have lived here. Some of us have been able to travel. But it's kind of interesting because I'm seeing animals from all over the world that may be extinct. Animals and plants. So there's the hedgehog cactus that's in the United States, the red wolf that's in the United States, the Kawaii tree, and I know I just said that all wrong. It's over here on this little island, and I honestly am not even sure what island that is. The key-billed toucan from South America, and the golden lion tamarin. That's interesting. It looks like a monkey to me, but it's called the golden lion. Do you think that's because maybe this golden mane around its face, it has like a lion? I bet that's it. It's kind of cute. Then over here in the east, we have the red-shanked dowk monkey, and I probably said that all wrong too. And then, of course, the beautiful Bengal tiger right here in Asia. So we've got some species that are in trouble. So as I read this and I look at these nonfiction text features, so nonfiction texts are texts that are not fake. They give me real information that's true. I want to think about, what did I learn today? I learned that animals and plants all over the world are becoming endangered or threatened, and some extinct. I learned that there's animals and plants in different parts of the world. It's not just one area, it's everywhere, that are becoming endangered, threatened, or extinct. And this map and these pictures really help me to understand how spread out these animals are over the world, what they look like. For example, if I would have read the words golden lion tamarin, I would have thought it was a lion. But the picture really helped me to see that it's actually a species of monkey. So these really do help me a lot when it comes to trying to understand more about what the text is saying. So let's go back to our notes. And let's talk about today. That author's purpose was to teach me something. So he was giving me information about a topic that he thought was important. I'll make this bigger so y'all can see well. So his purpose was to inform me. He wanted to inform me about endangered species and what that meant and where they lived and what they looked like. So he gave us some really great pictures and examples and information. Other books that might be read to be informed could be your history book that maybe, or for us it's social studies right now, but as you get older you'll study history because it's going to give you facts about history. You may read documentaries. Documentaries are about stories about people. sure I spell this right for you guys, that document their life. Maybe a news article. I think we read some of those yesterday in our group. News articles. Okay. What about recipes? I know I have some cookers in this group. I know Joy's one of them. She says she cooks lots of cool stuff. So a recipe is written to inform you how to make something. Biographies, those kind of go in the same realm as documentaries. Or maybe even science books or articles. Let me put that down here. Science. So National Geographic, Guinness World Book of Records. That's to inform, and that's kind of a fun thing to read sometimes. So as you're reading today, I want you to really think about the author's purpose of writing that book. Did the author want you to be informed and learn new information about a topic? Were they trying to entertain you and kind of make you feel a certain way about what you were reading? Maybe help you feel the emotions and the feelings of the character? Or were they trying to persuade you to do something they wanted you to do or think a way they want you to think? And then I want to go back one more time to connect this to yesterday's reading. Okay. If I were going to give you information about animals all over the world that could be endangered, do you think that you might be able to take this information, the facts you've learned, and then turn around and use some of those facts to persuade someone to do something differently so the animals don't die? What an interesting thought. I want to persuade you to change your actions to help save these animals and these plants. So sometimes authors' purposes can kind of work together. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you've written down all your notes. We will see you in small group and talk a little bit more about authors' purposes to inform.